Today is Tuesday and I'm just doing my check-in, and it's lovely today, nice sunset, and I think I have a name for my business, and I don't want to share it because I need to kind of run it past a couple of people and get their thoughts. Pretty confident about it. It just feels like the right name. It's really my whole thoughts and all of the things I think that my whole self-care business will encompass. I'm excited about it. I had known about this name for a while, and I did a couple searches. It doesn't look like that name is taken for a website or a business yet. I feel like that's the name. Make a decision so I can claim this website, that business. I'm just gonna run it past probably Patty and some people in my accountability group, get their thoughts. Ready to build up a website and really hammer down what are the whole goals and basically like the curriculum that I would be teaching my clients, getting clear on that. It's a lot. I gotta be honest, I am feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and this is only the beginning stages. Trying to get clientele. You have to have a product that you can market. You have to know it works. Definitely gonna need a couple of people who will be my guinea pigs so I can work on just getting better with like the different modules that I'll be providing and the workbooks that I will also be providing as well. So if you're interested in being in like our beta testing group, going and having some self-care consulting coaching calls with me, leave me a DM. I would be more than happy to give you about an hour of my time so that we can get you a self-care plan put together. So wherever you're struggling in your life, if that's making more time for just getting some extra rest or more time to focus on your fitness and getting a plan put together, then come to me. I'll help you get it all scheduled out and envision what your life, your ideal life with self-care would look like. I'm just so excited about it. So excited. Hey, today is Wednesday, and so I'm updating you guys. Exciting news, more decision making that I'm making right now. And I am going to start a podcast. I know it's a lot to ask of myself, but I think it's really could be a good thing. And I already have great ideas about some guests that I want to have on to just talk about their journey. It's just going to have a lot of different women coming on, talking about self-care. What was their breaking point, discovering that they needed to incorporate self-care into their life, how they're managing their life and their schedule, just having like practical tips that people can add into their life. Hopefully, I will get my first guest on so we can record that. Another quick decision that I'm looking into is that locally we have a local business that what they do is film production. And so it's not that far from where I live. I can probably get a really good discount on being able to use the space. And they actually have a podcast area. And so I'm like, oh my God, I could record the podcast while we're there. One of my first guests, I sent out a DM to one of my friends from elementary school. And she has such an incredible story that I just immediately thought of her. I'm like, who else would be such a great and inspiring woman? And she has had such a crazy life, ups and downs, just doing so well right now. And I really thought it would be a great idea to have her on the show. I'll be kicking that off soon. And then I'm also going to be looking at that space tomorrow. I have an appointment to drop in and check it out, see if I can afford to do it. From what I researched, it looks like it's like $90 an hour, which isn't horrible. We'll get really good quality podcasts because they have the whole setup there. I just have to plug in my computer and record. I'm excited about it. I'll probably have more tomorrow. Exciting times. I am taking action and making things happen. And then in the meantime, I'm still doing my YouTube channel. It's going to be in a pretty environment. It's just an investment, I'm thinking. The setup, the lighting's already there. I think it could be a good move, but I'll know more tomorrow. We had our boxing workout. That went really well. We did a whole lot. Well, we did like a 5-minute cardio warm up, which was really good. I'm pretty tired. My whole 30 is doing well. And I actually bought some fish from Stater Brothers. Looks fresh, but I didn't put it away right away in the fridge, which is my fault. And so it just has like a weird, I don't know, I just feel like it's not going to be safe to eat. So I brought that from lunch today. And then I was like, you know what? I just going to listen to my gut and not eat it. Just have fruit, what my main course, and some nuts for lunch. So I'm going to go home and make dinner. The past couple of nights I've just been making shakes, just blending it up in a blender because I haven't really been hungry at night. Back to my walk and prayer time, but just wanted to give you guys a quick look into my life, going through this breakthrough to success journey, and then moving forward as I turn 40. I think spent a lot of time just kind of dreaming about things, but now I'm making things happen. Okay, so today is Thursday and just doing a quick check-in. I am heading to a meeting, but I just wanted to check in because I wanted to talk about dealing with coworkers, tips on how to not be stressed out by other people's personalities. I'm in the growing phases of this and not letting people's tone stress me out or make me upset about things. So standing up for yourself. I got like an email and I felt like it was very much directed and blaming towards me, and I got really pissed about it. Ran it past two of my coworkers and I said, am I overreacting? They were like, oh no, like you should say something about this. I emailed back with the help of chat, at ABT. It helped to change my tone in my email because my tone was, okay, first of all, that was like my first initial email. But to explain look, this is how we do it. This is how we work. And it's up to you guys to make the decision of whether you guys can accommodate that. I had to just take a moment, and it really disrupted my peace. Quote Linkin Park, in the end, it doesn't even matter. Okay. Because life is too short to be wrapped up in stress and anxiety. And you really have to learn how to compartmentalize your life, your private life, your personal life, and who you are, and detach from that in your career. And I know it's easier said than done. I've had to learn lesson after lessons on that. Normally wouldn't respond to an email like that. I would just kind of ignore it. But what I'm learning is that I have really stood back and allowed a lot of people to bully me my whole life. I'm over it. I need to really assert myself and be a stronger person for me. Say, you know what? I don't agree with what you're saying. Also say it in a respectful way. That's not like, you're a piece of work. I don't know why you're bothering me. Really, it's just taking that moment and saying, what is this person trying to say? When you feel like being disrespected, to really stand up for yourself in the most respectful way. Just say, okay, I just want to set the record straight, and this is how the process goes. Don't want to make a bigger deal out of things. And for me, it's like, I don't want to bother anybody, and I just want to be accepting. I personally need to change that. And I know a lot of women have that same issue. They don't want to be bothered. They want to keep the peace, do the best that they can, and we end up suffering. I felt really proud of myself, and my boss ended up emailing me back because he was on email, and he said that I did a really good job responding to that. What I wrote was fire and flames, okay, and fury. But anywho, that's my lesson learned is really I had to take a deep breath. I took a walk. I let it bother me for way too long. But in the end, it doesn't matter. What matters is your peace. You make your thoughts known about it. You stand up for yourself, and then you move on. I think men are really good at compartmentalizing their life and not really taking things overly personal. They're able to kind of put that in a box and separate themselves from that. We really should take a page from men. I know that women are built differently and we're emotional, and men are too, but they just do a better job at it. So, really trying to separate your life, your work, your life, and balance out your life differently. You're trying to work with a lot of different people and a lot of different personalities. You're just trying to be professional as much as you can, but there is a professional way to stand up for yourself and to assert yourself. I really thought I could work with anybody and get along with them. But I have soon learned that there are a lot of people who just don't like you for whatever reason, or they have a perception of you, and sometimes you can't change that. And I had that situation at one of my old jobs that it was hell working there because the whole staff, when I came in, they already hated me. I prayed that whole time, and I said, I just have to be merciful and be kind. I'm not going to take their crap. And I had a time where I was very close to losing my job because there were some accusations made about me, insinuated to my boss that I was misappropriating funds and blah, blah, blah. And little did they know that I'm very detail oriented, and I track everything. I write everything down. I have receipts. I communicate with my employer. I'm almost over communicate sometimes. If I don't, I put everywhere I'm going on my calendar so anybody can track me and know where I am. Got, pulled into a meeting, and our CEO got involved in it, and it was just a big mess. And I just tried to be kind, and I took a lot of crap, but I took the emotional toll of that. I was getting sick a lot, and I had horrible anxiety. I had to get on antidepressants to be able to deal with that. It was such a toxic work environment. I really enjoyed what I did because I worked with kids. Thankfully, was able to move on from that job. And it's funny that I bring that up because I just ran into one of our old moms of one of the kids that was in my programs many years ago, and now he's 12 years old. She was just saying, I was the best director, and I was so kind, and I was the person that her son looked forward to the most, and he just loved me. And I was like, okay, I wish I would have known this at the time. Thought it was so nice to know that, she still remembered me and he still remembered me, and I just thought that was really cool. Going through all of that drama with my job and my coworkers was miserable. And the only thing that got me through that period, or the only thing that brought me peace, was number one, my spirituality and my time to myself, doing things for myself, getting massages and taking breaks, and a lot of times I would just work through and I wouldn't take a lunch. And I said, you know what? I need to take a break. I need time by myself. I'm going to do this for myself. I'm going to take time off. I was always trying to make everybody happy and to keep everyone pleased. And I realized that I was getting sick and basically going through mental health crisis the whole time I was working there for like 5 years. I got to a point, even when I was so stressed out, that my doctor told me, I think we need to put you into like an outpatient program and you're going to have to take leave of absence because you're not doing well. I had so much stress that I started to have heart palpitations and it was a mess. And I was severely depressed, and every day I had to come into work with a smile on my face when I was completely miserable and unhappy. But it was the only job that I had. And, you know, when you're single, it's just a different vibe. You know, it's just a different vibe. And you're like, oh my God, if I lose my job, what am I going to do? And of course, like now I'm like, okay, we can get another job. But at that time, it was really hard to find employment. I was looking for a job for a really long time and I just couldn't find the right fit. I had to learn ways to be able to help ease myself and soothe myself. And one of the ways was a therapist. I had to get on medication because I couldn't manage my depression on my own. And I had to develop this self-care team around me. My whole point of starting this whole self-care channel and supporting women and self-care coaching that I'm going to be announcing in the very near future is that, you know, we can't allow ourselves to get to that point. And so we have to have tools to be able to protect our peace, find a way to get back to ourselves, to stay true to who we are and stay true to ourselves, and to make sure that we're being nurtured and taken care of. Just got done touring the potential podcast space and video space. 2 really great options. Super cheap to rent the space if I'm a member. It's like $195 a month, and that will give me access to all of the spaces they have available. So, and I can do photo shoots there, I can do a podcast, and I can also record. I'm gonna go sit on it. I feel like I'm gonna say yes on that, especially for the podcast space. I said I was gonna go consider it and go sit on it, but I think I will probably move forward on it potentially. I don't know, probably the sooner the better. But 2 guests that I want to interview, but 1 for sure. I have to figure out the logistics for that, for recording. Also looked at office space. I'm just thinking potentially as things keep moving forward, I'm just envisioning where I would work. And currently this place is like 5 minutes from my house, and it's nice to work from home, but I don't have the most comfortable setup. So they have office spaces, and they showed me a couple options that are available. I won't need it now, and probably not for the next year, but they have meeting spaces that I can rent out, and there's just a lot of really great options. All of it's really positive, and so I'm probably going to do the podcast space for sure, and then they have a room next door that is open and available, and I can do more like a sit-down talk. I can have all my branding, and it's going to be amazing. So I'm going to go do a little bit more brainstorming, and then financially figure out like, gosh, you know, what am I going to do, and just try to make this all work out, make it all possible, because I really want to have good quality podcasts and really good quality videos. And the only space that I was lacking was my home space. And I'm like, well, I could spend $200 or $100 to get like equipment and stuff, and like new lighting, or I could just rent the space and I can use it a couple of times a month and record. So, and plus they already have most of the setup. They have the podcast setup already there. They have most of the lighting. I would just need to bring a ring light with me for the podcast, which I already have. And that's pretty much it. And, you know, you have, you know, people there that can help to show the equipment. I can do it by myself, or they can assist me. So there's just a lot of really good benefits if I was to use their space, and then I can use different areas to record. So anyways, that's where I'm at with that. I'm really excited, and it's actually going to be really great because I'm going to have a beautiful space to be able to bring guests in to do podcasts with. And I have a couple of people that I want to bring in person, and I have a couple more ask that I need to make, but I just want to hear women's stories, and I want to be able to ask them questions and to create a really good podcast that women can listen to, and men. I mean, men, like, they need self-care too, but they can listen to, and they can hear these stories, and what are some of the ways that they can change their mindset about self-care, not have any limits to what they can do with their life, and they can make time for it, and they can make space, and that they're deserving of that. I am super excited about that. lunch and breathwork class check-in here. Just hanging out. I felt really good this morning. It's Saturday morning, by the way. And I think the reason why I felt so good this morning, I woke up and I was so happy, was because I went to bed at 12 o'clock last night, which is very unusual. And I woke up at 9 o'clock. So I got well over 8.5 hours of sleep last night. I feel so good. So I was in such a good mood going into my breathwork and cold plunge class. So I definitely need to up the sleep. I think that might be a key component of why my brain is always kind of like grumpy in the morning, because I just don't get enough sleep. I'm gonna go to do some quick errands and I'm gonna start getting ready for my trip. Just need to get like a couple of little things, like little travel sites, soaps and things like that, and slowly getting together, getting my checklist together, getting my mind, because we're halfway through the month and we're leaving in about 2 weeks. So it's gonna be exciting. And check in for my Whole30 and weight loss. Okay, so yesterday, we went out to breakfast with one of my coworkers to celebrate her birthday. So when I went to eat, I ended up getting just scrambled eggs. I asked for fruit, I didn't get it. Vegetables, it was like a charred tomato. And potatoes, I specifically didn't want potatoes, but I got them. And they were like little fried potato balls, and then they had Parmesan on top and bacon. So that was my first time kind of eating things out of the norm, that outside of like the Whole30, and I did not feel good afterwards. And I think the main thing was the potatoes, because they were fried, and the bacon I wasn't vibing with at all. So I'm putting that on my list. I'm writing it down that bacon is a no-go, and having Parmesan I think might be one of those, you know, definitely the fried aspect of the potatoes. I can eat potatoes normally as long as they're like baked or air fried and not like fried in grease. And the Parmesan I think is questionable. That was like the first change or first restaurant that I've gone to, like a sit down restaurant, to have breakfast in like months. Check on my fitness goals. My weight is coming down. I am down 5 pounds since the end of July, which is great. And I just want to keep it going in this direction. So my kind of glossy goal is to lose 6 pounds this month. And I think if I continue eating healthy and watching what I eat, especially when I'm on vacation, is going to be critical. Yesterday we did a workout, which was really great. It was, I got trained by myself because no one showed up for class on Friday, because everyone else has crazy things to do on Friday. And I'm just like consistent, and I'm like, oh, well, it's Friday, I'm still showing up. So what did we do yesterday? Well, I have some video of our class yesterday. It was a lot of fun. At the gym today, I'm going to do cycling after I go to mass today, and then working on some podcast ideas. Feeling good on Saturday.